Hi, and welcome to Business 101 with Mareevuitton. I'm Marie, and I'm excited to have you join me. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your skills, this series is designed to equip you with the essential knowledge and tools you need to thrive, from basic terminology to starting your business. Covered. This playlist is comprised of my responses to the questions that came in when I posed the following. Give me 1 to 2 questions about business or tax that you wish you knew more about. In this video, we're going to go over what a tax return is. But before we jump in, a quick reminder, this channel is about creating useful content that educates its viewers. And the way we know what topics are helpful to you is by clicking the thumbs up button below and sharing this video with others. But of course, we'd still love to hear from you, so drop your questions and feedback in the comments below, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated. Before we dive in and talk about tax credits and deductions and different things, different questions that came up, I thought I would just touch base on what a tax return is. The form that you're looking at is a 2023 1040 form. It is available on the irs.gov website. It's the basic form for a tax return. And if you really just take the time to read it, I don't expect everybody to grasp the more complex issues, but if we can just grasp the basics and maybe fill in the blanks for some of the things, it could make everybody's understanding of why tax is so important, why you filing and your contributions to that are so important, and why I think doing things the right way is always going to be more advantageous. I go over that in many of the videos that I talk about tax concepts, okay? So that being said, I just want to show you in its most basic form. There's obviously a lot more forms that can accompany this, but this is the basic form, okay? You can see that your basic info, which does contain sensitive info, and that of your spouse would be listed on a return. The way that you're going to file based on your circumstances, okay, and you can see what they are. And I do have instructions, so I'll show you that. I definitely tell everybody to just download it, take a look at it, just understand the basics. Because if you really read this, it's not difficult, okay? And the only things that would need more complex things would be, some of the investments and things like that. But these, in its most basic form, and even with TurboTax, is so easy to use. I'm not a big proponent for TurboTax, however, for more complex issues. For the basics and for most everybody that's an employee, it's definitely great to use. If you have accurate financials and you're an LLC or a sole prop, super easy to do it there too. It's when people want to dance around, which is also illegal, it's fraud, when they want to state numbers wherever they see fit, plugging them away wherever it adjusts what's due, okay? But I think the reason why it's so easy to tell when some of these things are off is because they are off. They're lies, or they're just incorrectly submitted information, okay? Sometimes due to a lack of knowledge. So be mindful of who you get to prepare your taxes. That matters. You don't need a CPA to file them. So a lot of people are filing them all across the board. So I would just be mindful of that. The majority of people can do it on their own using TurboTax or any of the other softwares, okay? So that being said, I'm just gonna dive into some questions, okay? Like I said, before we dive into those questions, I wanna make sure you know, to me, this is just an application. So tax return at a personal level is just recapping what they already know is tied to your social security number, okay? Let me rephrase that. Let me say that again. I look at the tax return as your application to the taxing authorities, be it federal or state level, to recap, good, bad, or indifferent, what happened to you from a financial aspect for the year. Okay? It does give you a period of time, and if you want to change the period of time, you can do so here. The reason why it's important to know the year that you're dealing with is because, over time, as we all have experienced, things, the inflation and everything else has increased. So a lot of these forms are based on the rules and regulations and different things that are in place for that year. So be mindful when you're filling out tax documents and when you're receiving them from others. Make sure you know what year you're dealing with, because it's oftentimes a big situation, especially if somebody's behind on tax, but that's a whole nother video. Okay, so this is what I see. So if you think that the IRS does not know what's tied to your social, I'm going to tell you that they do. Okay, everything is tied basically back to a social. That's why you can't open certain accounts without one and things like that. Okay.